Welcome back to another episode of the Icons of Our Time, where you meet iconic people who are revered globally as influential and impactful. Warren Buffett is one such icon. He is an investment guru, a self-made billionaire, and one of the most respected businessmen in the world. He is also one of the most charitable billionaires in the world. In February 2020, Warren Buffett became the longest tenured CEO of an S&P 500 index company. At age 90, with a net worth of $90 billion, he is one of the richest people in the world. Living and working in Omaha, Nebraska, Buffett is nicknamed the Oracle of Omaha due to his investment selections. This is his story. Warren Edward Buffett was born on August 30th, 1930, to his mother Layla and father Howard, a stockbroker turned congressman in Omaha, Nebraska. Buffett often visited his father's brokerage shop as a child, and at 11 years old, he made his first investment. We could say he was born with business in his blood. He bought 3 shares of Cities Service Preferred at $38 a share. It quickly dropped to $27, but Buffett held on to it and sold it as soon as it reached $40. He regretted the sale because the stock soared to $200 a share. He later said that this experience taught him a big lesson in patience in investing. This is how he learned what it means to hold on for long term. By age 13, he was running his own business as a paperboy. That same year, he filed his first tax return, claiming his bike as a $35 tax deduction. At the age of 15, he bought a pinball machine and placed it in a barber shop. After a few months, he owned several machines across many shops. Buffett attended Woodrow Wilson High School in Washington, D.C. Even though he was eager to work, he knew that he had to get the necessary education. He enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania at age 16 to study business. After 2 years, he moved to the University of Nebraska to finish up his degree. At age 19, he graduated college. He had nearly $10,000 from his childhood businesses of paper delivery, selling chewing gum, Coca-Cola bottles, and weekly magazines door to door. He decided to continue his education further, and when he was rejected by Harvard Business School, he chose Columbia Business School, after finding out that Benjamin Graham, a well-respected investor, was teaching there. In 1951, he received his master's degree in economics at Columbia University. At Columbia, Buffett studied under economist Benjamin Graham and was greatly influenced by him. He learned the philosophy of value investing from Graham. Later, he worked for his mentor for 2 years as an analyst at Graham Newman Corp., where he earned $12,000 a year. When Graham retired, Buffett started his own firm. He says he has learned a lot from his incredible teacher, which has shaped his professional life. He says Graham taught him the 2 rules of investing that he has diligently lived by through his career. Rule number 1, never lose money, and rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. He also learned from Graham to make all his investments after full study and to never bring his emotions in the trade. In 1956, Buffett formed the firm Buffett Partnership Limited in Omaha. He utilized the techniques learned from Graham in identifying undervalued companies. One such enterprise was a textile company named Berkshire Hathaway. This proved to be a turning point in his life. Buffett put his knowledge and the decisive power of decision-making at work. Buffett began accumulating stocks in Berkshire Hathaway. He began buying shares from Seabury Stanton, the owner of Berkshire Hathaway, whom he later fired. By 1965, he had assumed control of the company. In 1966, in a bold move, Buffett closed the partnership to new money. In 1967, He bought the National Indemnity Company and National Fire and Marine Insurance Company. In 1969, he dissolved his firm to concentrate all his efforts on the development of Berkshire Hathaway. In 1970, he named himself as a chairman of the board and wrote Berkshire Hathaway's first letter to the shareholders. These letters became very famous. His letters are studied by many investors around the world. The acquisition of the insurance business in Berkshire Hathaway in 1967 and onwards became a trademark of Buffett's success. It became the bread and butter of Berkshire Hathaway. In 1973, Berkshire Hathaway began to acquire stock in the Washington Post Company. Aside from textile and insurance, Buffett continued Berkshire Hathaway's investments in a diversified portfolio of holdings with a buy and hold philosophy. He took chances on some underperforming stocks when the rest of the investing world watched from the sidelines. He studied them and knew what he was doing. He says, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." There came a point that when people thought of Warren Buffett, they thought of Berkshire Hathaway. This continues to this date. In 1983, he bought the Nebraska Furniture Mart. In 1984, he bought into Scotts and Fetzer. In 1988, he began to buy shares in Coca-Cola. He believed in the company, and little by little, Berkshire Hathaway managed to own a 7% share in Coca-Cola, which was worth over $1 billion, making Buffett a billionaire in 1990. Berkshire Hathaway currently owns about 10% of Coca-Cola, which amounts to $22 billion. Even though Buffett never had a big interest in tech companies, in 2013 he bought a 13% stake in VeriSign, which holds the exclusive right to the .com domain. During the financial crisis of 2008, he made a number of investments, and despite showing a drop of 62% in the 2008 financial crisis, he made over $10 billion in profit from the deals he had made between 2008 and 2011. He applied his business motto of, "Our favorite holding period is forever." He says, "When the tide goes out, we'll see who is swimming naked." Well, he went swimming, and he is reaping the rewards to this day. This dynamic businessman, known as one of the world's savviest value investors, has received many accolades. His stock picks have made the Sage of Omaha a household word, not just on Wall Street, but on Main Street too. In 2011, Buffett received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. For Buffett, philanthropy is an extension of his personal success. Since the year 2000, Buffett has donated more than $46 billion, making him the most charitable billionaire. It was always his aim to build up wealth in order to give it away to help the wider society. His lifestyle of frugality and humility shows how money holds little value for him in and of itself. This down-to-earth legend still lives in his 50-year-old house that he bought for $31,500 in 1957 and owns a self-driven car. He never uses a private jet to travel, although he is the owner of the world's largest private jet company. He has also pledged that 99% of his wealth will go to charitable causes, with 83% of that going to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. As for his personal life, he married Susan Thompson in 1952. The couple had 3 children. They began living separately in 1977, but remained married until Susan's death in 2004. In 2006, he married his longtime companion, Astrid Menks. These are a few of his famous sayings. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. This last quote shows that with a well-placed over-the-top confidence, over-the-top results are achievable. Please comment, share, like and subscribe for more awesome videos. With love, the icons of our time.